Antifa is finally being dismantled in Portland, literally. After nearly 150 days of occupying and camping out on the street outside the ICE facility, police are finally stepping in and tearing down their encampment. And guess why Portland police have finally responded? Because MAGA is here. Trump has been given the green light to send in the National Guard, and there's a whole host of MAGA patriots already there in Portland waiting to greet them as liberators. You're going to absolutely love this. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, enjoying yet another wonderful day in America's golden age that you made possible back on November the 5th. So if you want a front row seat on how you continue to change the world in ways you never even imagined, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. One quick programming note, I will be speaking at the new St. Andrew's Cigar and Scotch event in Lancaster, Pennsylvania on November the 11th. It's absolutely free to attend, but spots are limited. So check out the link below and RSVP soon. I would love to meet you there personally. All right, so as many of you know, the Ninth Circuit Court, what is traditionally considered the most liberal court in America, they're often referred to as the Ninth Circus. Well, nevertheless, over the last 2 weeks, they've shocked their judicial colleagues by actually siding with the Trump administration not once, but twice in overturning a rogue activist judge's restraining order preventing Trump from sending in the National Guard to Portland. Now, there's still some nuances to be worked out on that, but most legal analysts recognize it's just a matter of time. This is a go. And that's because of a near 200-year-old ruling called Martin versus Mott. This goes back to 1827 when the Supreme Court ruled that when the president calls out the militia, what we now call today the National Guard, that decision is, quote, conclusive upon all persons. That's the language. Conclusive upon all persons, meaning the president, as the commander-in-chief of our nation's armed forces, the president alone has jurisdiction over how those forces are or are not to be used. And here's the key. That jurisdiction is absolute. No exceptions, no judicial review, no state veto power. The court was crystal clear. The president's authority to decide whether an emergency exists belongs exclusively to the president. His decision cannot be questioned by anyone, not governors, not mayors, and certainly not activist federal judges. And the Supreme Court has already signaled that when it comes time for them to rule on this restraining order, they're going to side, at least the conservative majority, is going to come squarely down on the side of Trump's executive authority to deploy the National Guard where and how he sees fit. No judge in the nation, not one, has the authority to circumvent that. Again, we just saw a ruling by an appellate court in line with this. We talked yesterday about the case surrounding Border Patrol Chief Gregory Bavino. He's in charge of the Trump administration's very aggressive and very successful deportation campaign in the city of Chicago, known as Operation Midway Blitz. Chief Bavino has been routinely harassed by this ultra-woke Illinois judge who's actually ordered Bavino to come to her courthouse every single evening at 6 p.m. so this activist judge can scrutinize the actions he and his federal agents under his command took throughout the day to see if anything went against her restraining order. It was literally taking the whole concept of a nanny state to a whole new absurd level. And of course, he said, bottom line, I take my commands from one person, and that is the commander-in-chief. I'm a federal agent. I don't work for you. Well, an appellate court has just stepped in, and of course they have shut down this absurdity. That judge was just overruled. She has no jurisdiction whatsoever over Chief Bavino, and he will no longer have to put up with her ridiculous harassment. So while all this judicial activism is, yes, most certainly, well, it's annoying at best and downright maddening at worst. Regardless, the good news is that it is getting shut down left and right. You just have to be patient with the process. And so when the National Guard does finally come to Portland, they're going to have a field day in raiding Antifa makeshift headquarters like this.
All right, here goes. Once again, all of these Antifa militants who have been cleared out of the tent are bringing their supplies to the safe house just a block away from the Portland ICE facility. So it's evident again. They call this quote-unquote Chandler's house. He's the guy who's essentially allowing this to happen. But this is crystal clear evidence of what's happening here.
Inside that makeshift headquarters are reportedly loads full of medicine, medical gear, gas masks, food supplies, a fridge, you name it. Basically, everything these protesters need to continue their campaign of harassment of our law enforcement officials. But even before the National Guard shows up, a group of MAGA Patriots is already busy shutting this Antifa nest down.
Y'all also hang out with us too, so what is this? What is this?
And now finally, Portland police have had enough, and they've begun dismantling and confiscating all the Antifa camp supplies, their tents, their sleeping bags. Speaking of, as we've seen with the devastation of Hurricane Melissa, I mean, you never know when you're going to be in a life or death situation. And things get even worse when you're older because we hold less body heat. And just imagine being stranded in a broken down car in the middle of the night and having to walk for help. A rainstorm, even in the summer, could easily mean hypothermia. But then I discovered this. Do you know what this is? I kid you not. This is a full-size, heat-reflective emergency sleeping bag that actually fits in the palm of your hand. I've never seen anything even remotely like it. It's absolutely amazing. And you heard that right. It's an emergency thermal sleeping bag that can keep you warm down to Arctic temperatures. It's waterproof. It's windproof. Bright orange as well, so you're easy to spot in a disaster. It's 7 feet long and 3 feet wide. And yet it fits in the palm of your hand or right in your glove compartment. Again, I've never seen anything like this. Sierra Madre, the genius creators of this emergency sleeping bag, made it small enough to fit in your pocket, your glove box, your junk drawer, or your go bag, but it packs such an amazing punch. I was actually sweating in this thing. I found it so warm, and I made sure to get a whole bundle of them for all my family to keep in their glove compartments. And for a limited time, you could stock up on Sierra Madre's emergency sleeping bag for 59% off. You heard that right, 59% off. But this is a limited time offer. It lasts just as long as it takes to get the Wisconsin warehouse cleaned up and ready to go for a whole new batch of inventory, because this is selling like freaking hotcakes, like it should. So don't wait. Get your family ready today and save a bundle before this sale ends. Oh, and I almost forgot. The 10-pack, it ships free. So the 10-pack actually doubles your savings. You're going to love this. Sierra Madre are patriots just like us. So these aren't available in the big retail stores or the chains or anything like that. The only place you can get this warehouse clean-out deal is if you click the link down below right now. Click that link and do what I did. Stock up, get enough for your entire family, and enjoy free shipping on top of this 59% savings. Click on that link below right now.
So while I have a little bit of attention over here,
yes, sir,
we are going to be more seriously enforcing over the next couple of days disorderly conduct in the second degree. If somebody goes in the street, they're blocking traffic, that's disorderly conduct second degree. People are going to be going to jail for that. People are going to be arrested. Drinking in public, that's a city code violation. We're seeing someone drinking, that's liquid death. I see you right there, partner. I see you right there, partner. I like liquid death. If we see people drinking alcohol in public, that is a city code violation. We're going to be taking proper action on that. Love it. Jaywalking, we're going to be seeing proper action on that. Something like this. We need to make sure we have sidewalks open.
Jaywalking is legal in Oregon.
Not under all circumstances.
Yes, it is.
So, if we're seeing people doing violations such as this, people's sidewalk egress not possible, we're going to be trying to correct that so people can be following these.
So as you just saw there, a combination of MAGA patriots and finally, finally some responsible Portland police officers are starting to restore some semblance of law and order. And make no mistake, this is largely happening so that the governor of Oregon and the mayor of Portland can try to convince President Trump not to send in the National Guard. This is what makes these rogue judges so ridiculously nefarious. The very threat of sending in the National Guard is often enough to get these leftist mayors and governors to finally do something, to finally restore law and order on their rat-infested third world streets. When an activist judge interrupts that, when an activist judge comes in and tries to interfere in that political leverage, when she has no right to do so in the first place, that only ends up providing cover for ultra-left governors and mayors to continue to double down on their abdicating of their law enforcement responsibilities. Now, again, fortunately, the courts are busy remedying this kind of ridiculous judicial activism. And right now, as we speak, the Supreme Court is deciding on whether the Trump administration has the authority to send in National Guard troops into Chicago. Now, a few weeks back, on October 9th, yet another activist judge, a Biden appointee, issued a temporary restraining order blocking the deployment of the National Guard, ruling Trump did not show enough evidence that the deployment was somehow justifiable or necessary. Again, you cannot make this stuff up. I mean, these judges appointing themselves as the de facto commander-in-chief, that's not for a judge to decide. That's for us. That's for the American people to decide who vote for our commander-in-chief, but not some lonely rogue judge. So regardless, this has gone straight to the Supreme Court, and they're supposed to rule on it in the next couple of weeks. And of course, this ruling will be what many hope to be the final definitive ruling on presidential authority over our armed forces. It's even astonishing we have to do this. And again, that's in accordance with the 200-year precedent and clear constitutional backing. It is the president and the president alone who ultimately commands our armed forces, and no judge on the planet has any authority whatsoever to override that authorization. So we'll be keeping a very close eye on how things develop here. But until National Guard troops do eventually arrive in Portland, MAGA Patriots will be there, faithfully waiting.